Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our virtual open evening for the BSc Honours Veterinary Nursing top-up degree. We are really delighted to have you with us tonight. So our aim this evening is to give you a clear overview of the programme, answer your questions, and just essentially help you decide whether this is the right next step for your career. So before we begin, just a few housekeeping points. This session is being recorded and you'll receive a link afterwards. If you do have any questions as we go through the presentation, please just type them into the Q&A box and we'll address those at the end. If you do happen to have any technical issues, if you could use the chat function and we'll assist you from there. So first up, some introductions. Well, my name is Lauren Norton and I'm the programme leader for the top-up degree. I'm a qualified registered veterinary nurse and I graduated from the degree programme with first class honours and I've worked in both first opinion and referral practice before moving into lecturing over a decade ago. I also hold a master's degree in clinical animal behaviour, which is a subject I'm very passionate about. I'm also really proud of this programme, especially following its recent full revalidation. We've worked really hard to make it contemporary, flexible, and relevant to today's veterinary profession. So let's get started. Well, I'll now hand over to my colleagues, Emma and Jess, to introduce themselves. Together, we'll be guiding you through this webinar this evening, and we're also lucky to be joined by one of our students tonight, who is Paige. So if I could hand over to Emma and Jess to introduce yourselves, that'd be wonderful.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Lauren. My name's Emma Gerard. I'm one of the lecturers on the top-up programme. I'm the module leader for the surgical nursing module and also the emergency and critical care. So I'm really excited to tell you a little bit more about those later on. And obviously you join in the team. I'm a registered veterinary nurse. I've been in practice for 23 years before joining the team at Core 2.5 years ago. So I'll hand over to Jess.
Hi, I'm Jess. I'm the Student Engagement Officer for the college, and I'm a registered veterinary nurse, been qualified since 2012, and I have a specialism in anaesthesia and exotic nursing, and it's great to be here. So I'll hand back to Lauren. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I don't know, Paige, if you would like to introduce yourself as well. That'd be amazing.
Hello everyone, my name's Paige. I qualified as a veterinary nurse in 2019, but prior to that I have been in practice since 2014, I think it is. But I'm a second year student on the top-up degree programme.
Amazing. Thank you ever
Thank
so
you.
much, Paige. Thank you. Lovely. Okay, so I just wanted to pause here for a moment so we can take a look at this amazing photo. This is from one of our graduation ceremonies, and I'm sure everyone will agree with me that that's here on the panel today. These occasions are just amazing. They're always filled with excitement, pride, and just that real sense of achievement. And I just want you to picture yourself here in potentially a couple of years' time, celebrating your success with friends and family. And that's really exactly what we want for you, a qualification that opens doors, builds your confidence, and helps to set you up for a rewarding future. So next up, well, what's the purpose of this programme and what are the aims? As I mentioned earlier, we recently revalidated the programme, which is a normal process that degree programmes will go through every so many years. But this actually gave us the perfect opportunity to listen to our stakeholders, so current and former students, potential applicants, and the wider veterinary profession. And we asked, what do you want from a top-up degree? What will help you to achieve your professional aspirations? So you spoke and we listened and we used the opportunity to build the programme around your feedback. So first and foremost, this is an opportunity for RVNs with a level 3 diploma or a foundation degree to progress to a full BSc Honours degree in veterinary nursing. And our aims for this are quite clear. So we want you to graduate as safe, competent, and reflective practitioners who can think critically, who can solve problems, and deliver holistic patient care. We also focus on autonomy, complex decision making, and teamwork, skills that will hopefully set you apart in practice. And it doesn't stop there. We also encourage lifelong learning and transferable skills to help prepare you for roles wherever you want to go, really. It could be education, leadership, research, and collaboration across the profession. And one of, I think, the most exciting aspects about this program is that it's entirely online because we know that RVNs lead busy lives, balancing work, family, personal commitments, and you ask for flexibility, and that's what we've delivered here. So all of the teaching materials, including live sessions, are delivered online. So you can technically study from anywhere in the world. Whilst, of course, you're always welcome to visit our centres at the College of Animal Welfare or Middlesex University, there's actually no mandatory in-person attendance. So we've tried to design a programme that fits around your life as much as possible. So next up, entry requirements. So to join this programme, you'll need to hold a level 3 qualification in veterinary nursing and be a registered veterinary nurse with the RCVS, or you might hold an equivalent qualification if you're practicing internationally. We do also accept some of the older qualifications, such as the RCVS certificate, provided that your training was equivalent to the level 3 diploma. But if this might apply to you and you're not too sure, you can, of course, contact us directly for some advice. For international applicants, you must provide officially translated certificates and also evidence of English proficiency, which needs no component less than 6. But if you've got any questions about this, if you're not quite sure, we're happy to guide you through the process. So finally, as part of the application process, most of our applicants will complete what we call the recognition of prior learning, or RPEL process, which we're going to explain shortly. So, as I mentioned, I think one of the most attractive aspects of our top-up degree is its flexibility. So you can choose to study full-time or part-time, which makes it easier to fit your studies around work and personal commitments, because we know life is busy, and I think this flexibility really helps to remove some of those barriers that might exist to higher education. So the programme is delivered entirely through distance learning. So again, no need to attend lectures on campus. All of our teaching and learning activities are hosted on our online platform, including both live sessions and also self-paced or asynchronous, we call them, materials. So for each 12-week module that you study, you'll join live online teaching sessions for around 2 hours every other week. And these sessions are scheduled in advance, and we always aim to give plenty of notice of that, because obviously we understand many of you have got work and family commitments and responsibilities. So attendance at these live sessions is compulsory, but it works out around 2 hours every other week per module. So in addition, you'll also have 2 academic advising tutorials per semester, but these are much more flexible, and we can arrange those at times to suit both you and your academic advisor. So outside of those live taught sessions, you'll engage in independent study at times that work best for you. So this could include things like reading articles and research papers. It could be working on projects and preparing for your assessments. And we really try to embed a range of assessment methods to suit different learning styles. So we have some pre-recorded presentations, we've got research projects, written assignments. So hopefully there's something for everyone, and also to help you develop a broad range of skills throughout the programme. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at the course structure and content. So first of all, if you were to choose the full-time route, which is on screen now, you'll study 2 modules per semester, with each semester lasting 12 weeks, and we do 2 semesters per year. So each module is worth 30 credits, which is the equivalent of around 300 study hours. But that's obviously spread over the course of the 12 weeks. So full-time students will complete 4 modules per year over 2 years. Now, part-time learners, just bringing that up now, will follow exactly the same exciting content and modules, but at a slightly slower pace. So they will do 1 module per semester, 2 per year, over 4 years. We do also accept applications from students that have a foundation degree, and subject to university approval of their qualifications, they can technically complete the course either in 1 year full-time or 2 years part-time. So as I mentioned, this is an especially exciting time for our programme because it has been recently revalidated, which really gave us that opportunity and chance to design a course that truly meets the needs of our learners. And the result is, I hope, a really diverse range of modules with something for everyone. So first up, hopefully you can see these modules on screen. In year one, if you love surgical nursing, Emma's surgical nursing module will certainly be right up your street. But if you prefer medical cases, our medicine nursing module is perfect for those managing blood glucose curves or interpreting PCVs for your IMHA patients. You've also got evidence-based nursing, where you'll also, in another module, explore the evolving role of the veterinary nurse. And then in the second year for our full-time students, we've got something for you ECC enthusiasts, where you're going to deepen your knowledge of emergency and critical care nursing, and we've also got an anaesthesia module. And if research excites you, then we've got the quality improvement module, and that actually lets you investigate an area that you're passionate about. Part-time students, as I said, will complete all of the same modules. It's just spread over 4 years rather than 2. And as I mentioned, if you already hold a foundation degree in veterinary nursing, you might be able to finish the course in just 1 year full-time or 2 years part-time, subject to university approval. But of course, all of these routes will lead to our fantastic graduation ceremony, which is just a wonderful day of celebration, networking, and pride in your achievements. And I think you guys will agree with me that when I say graduation day comes round faster than you think, it really is true. Absolutely whizzes round. Okay, so I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Jess, if that's okay, to talk to us about the benefits of a top-up degree in veterinary nursing.
Excellent. Thank you, Lauren. So I thought it'd be really good to talk about why do a top up. So for me, completing a top up, it'll allow you to build on your existing qualification, and it will maybe not only enhance your knowledge and critical thinking, which you can take back into the clinical setting, but it will also potentially open up sort of wider career opportunities. Just like Lauren said, maybe leadership roles or going to teaching like us or into academia, or go into research or into other advanced practice or into specialisms. And like Lauren said, like medical nursing, surgical nursing, or oncology, or even into postgraduate study as well for those people that would love to keep on learning. And it will also show you like a commitment to professional development in the veterinary sector. Looks great on CVs as well. And also there is jobs now where I have seen would like a degree veterinary nurse, so I think that is really important as well. But it is that professional recognition, and it is about personal development. I did a degree because I really wanted to be able to, get up to level 6 and learn that, have that extra knowledge as well. And I'm sure that's the case for Lauren and Emma as well. But it is that increased job satisfaction, that in-depth knowledge, and it has served me quite well over the years in whatever role that I have had. So it is all about that career progression, because we do want to learn more. So when you're a veterinary nurse, you've been in practice a while, you do want to do other extra things, I think, and this could be one of those extra things that you guys want to do. So it is so glad that you're here, that you're learning about this, and hopefully you'll want to come and do the top up with us. So I think I'll hand back to Lauren at this point, if that's okay, to go to the next slide. Thank you very much. So I thought it'd be really good to talk about our student feedback, because you don't want to just take our word for it. You want to kind of hear from our students as well. So we've got Paige here, who I'm going to hand over to, who's going to tell you all about the programme and why you should come and do it.
Thank you, Jess. So yeah, as I said, my name's Paige, and I am in the second year of the university degree, and it has been really good for my confidence, really good just learning more and more. For me, I wasn't happy with just sort of sitting at level 3, because I did it by diploma, so I got my level 3 in veterinary nursing, and I graduated in 2019. And just for me, being out of learning, it just gives you such a purpose and something to work work towards, and it's a really good sense of achievement, when you pass, when you get your grades through and you pass assignments. I lead a very, very busy life. I am a single mum to one beautiful little girl, who takes up a lot of my time, as I'm sure you'll know if you're parents, or if you have it yet to come. But and I did it for her as well. I wanted for my little girl to be proud. I know she was already, but I'll be bringing her along to my graduation next year. I can't believe how quick it's come around, but fingers crossed. Yeah, she'll be coming along to graduation next year, and I just know that she's gonna be so happy for me. So yeah,
Thank you,
thanks,
Paige.
Jess.
That's amazing. I know she'll be super proud of you. We're super proud of you as well.
Thank
Um,
you.
so thank you so much for sharing that. And as you can see here, this is Fabio, and Fabio provide us with this amazing feedback as well. But I also wanted to share some more recent feedback that we have had as well. So when I spoke with them, they said the program overall had been really good, and they would highly recommend it to other students because they enjoyed the variety of modules and assessment formats. And they said that the level of support from us had been excellent, and it was really easy to contact the tutors for help and guidance. And it was very, very easy, they said, to fit their course around their full-time job in practice, which was really important to them. So I just wanted to give a variety of feedback that shows that even if you're feeling a little bit like, oh, would I be able to fit it in? Would it be too much? I do think that it is manageable. You can hear from Paige and from the other students that it does fit in, that we've made our programs so they're quite flexible and will fit in within your life. And I do think that's really important. I'll touch on what Paige said about that sense of achievement. You really are going to feel that, and we'll feel that for you at graduation when we clap, when you walk on the stage and receive your degree. We're all really emotional and super supportive of you, and it'll just be such an amazing moment when you get your degree. So thank you so much, Paige. And I will hand back to Lauren. I think that's my bit there. But thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Jess. I'll now hand over to my other colleague, Emma, to have a chat with you about something I mentioned earlier, which is recognition of prior learning. Thanks so much, Emma.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay, so I'm going to take a few minutes just to have a chat about our recognition of prior learning. So, as Lauren said, we need to sort of think about this a little bit if we're stepping on to level 4 from level 3. Okay, so when we're thinking about higher education, it's structured across various levels, beginning at level 4, progressing on to level 5, and then culminating at level 6 at the end. Now, to be awarded your BSc Honours degree, applicants must accumulate 360 credits in higher education. So our top-up programme is designed for applicants who are already registered veterinary nurses, who have their level 3 diploma or a foundation degree. But those applying with their level 3 diploma will need to top up to RPEL, so our recognition of prior learning. This just shows your professional experience against level 4 credits, okay? So then you can complete the programme at level 4 and then step on to level 5. The RPEL portfolio counts for 120 level 4 credits, and this process will recognise all of your prior experiences and all of your learning as an already qualified veterinary nurse, and this will award you with your level 4 credits. Now, applicants who have a foundation degree already will already have those credits at level 4 and level 5, so you can just decide to top up at level 6 without the RPEL process at all. Now, when we're completing the RPEL, applicants are allowed 3 attempts to complete the portfolio if needed, but actually in our experience, it's a really easy process. You have plenty of guidance and we've not needed to sort of allow those extra attempts. So hopefully it's just that one attempt needed for you and you can do that sort of straightforward as we possibly can. So there's plenty of feedback, plenty of support that we can give you. You have a portfolio template and you'll have a mentor to support you during the process. Tutors can give you as much or as little support as you need. It's important to remember that there's only a pass or a fail only. It's not graded and we don't assess against academic writing at all. There will be a deadline. It's usually sort of the end of August, but we can confirm that nearer the time. Can I have the next slide, please, Lauren? Fabulous, thank you. So what I'm going to do now is just take you through some of the steps and the domains, as we call them, on our RPEL process. Now, the RPEL portfolio is based on the 4 domains, as I mentioned, and these are designed from the main BSc Veterinary Nursing programme that we have at the university. It focuses on those core veterinary nursing skills that you actually will already have when you train to become a veterinary nurse. So the portfolio is just about evidencing and documenting all the skills and the knowledge that you have, but at that professional level, at academic level 4. Okay. So the portfolio is designed to help meet this level. So we'll briefly take a look at those 4 domains. So we have domain A here. This is professional development. So it's all the things that we would sort of consider with record keeping, animal identification, those key legal and professional requirements that we need as a veterinary nurse, the role of the veterinary nurse and interprofessional working. And we also touch upon evidence-based veterinary nursing within this domain as well. Domain B is all about the fundamentals of working in a veterinary environment. So thinking about anatomical directions, structures and functions of the body systems, thinking about veterinary terminology, common causes of infectious diseases, preventative healthcare strategies. It's about providing evidence on vaccination, neutering, diseases like kennel cloth, cat flu, ringworm. So all the things that you'll be seeing on a daily basis. We'll also touch on patient assessment here and care of the veterinary environment, thinking about safe working in our veterinary environment, so manual handling, radiography legislation. As I say, it's all those things that you will be doing every day in veterinary practice. Then we move on to Body Systems 1, our domain C. This is the first of the body systems module on our main programme, and it's focusing on the GI system and the integument, so the skin. It'll be thinking about the structure and the function of the GI and the skin systems, so vomiting and diarrhea, itchy patients, all of those really common things we're seeing, the common diagnostic testing that we need for the diagnosis of those common disorders, and also the reasons for spurious results, so why things are going wrong and the reasons for that. And it's also thinking about the safe and effective veterinary nursing care that we need for these common disorders. Then finally, we've got domain D. This is the practical skills associated with the body systems domain. So some of this evidence we can submit will count across all of the domains. There's plenty of opportunities for cross-referencing. For example, we can link to veterinary terminology. We can explain safe animal handling here, restraining techniques, and we also focus on developing an understanding of the RCVS professional behaviours and attitudes and how we can sort of compare our behaviours to this criteria. So everybody's portfolio will be very different. It's not just writing things that counts, it's all of the evidence. So client evenings, posters, CPD certificates, photos, witness statements. There's so much that you can use. And actually evidence within the last 5 years as well. So even if you're recently qualified, there is still an opportunity for you to use evidence with your MPL, for example, within here. So that's just a bit of an overview of the RPL process, but we'll be happy to take any questions later on in the session. Thanks, Lauren. I'll hand back over to you.
Perfect. Thank you ever so much, Emma. And I think you'll probably agree, it's not the RPEL is not designed to be, a hugely arduous task. It is
No.
just things that as a qualified veterinary nurse that you're very likely to be doing day in, day out. And it just helps you evidence that you're ready to sort of take that jump between level 3 up to level 5. It's sort of that stepping stone in the middle, isn't it? So.
Absolutely. I'm sure Paige will have plenty to say about the RPEL as well.
Oh yes, that's a good point actually. I don't suppose, Paige, I mean you did yours a while back now. But do you remember the process at all?
Yes, I do. So, one thing I'll just advise everyone, it can seem a bit daunting, but it's really not. Don't overlook it. You do this every single working day of your life. You know what you need to do and what you need to put in there. I got loads of pictures for mine because I'm very visual. I just got I got my colleagues to just take pictures of me doing a task and delivering my evidence that way. So yeah, don't one thing, yeah, just don't overthink things, guys. You can do it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Paige. That's great. Okay, let me just scroll on to my next slide. Um, So next up, hopefully you're keen to apply, and just to sort of go through the application process. So we accept applications either via UCAS or directly to the university. UCAS is usually our preferred route, but direct applications are absolutely fine too. And we'll share links of how you can do that when we send out the recording via email. So the application forms are generally straightforward, but if you have any questions or you need some guidance, please don't hesitate to contact us. And once we've reviewed your application and confirmed that you've met the entry requirements, you'll then be invited to an informal interview with myself or one of the other program tutors. And the interview is, again, it's very informal. It's just simply an opportunity for us to get to know you, make sure you understand, the time commitment involved and things like that, and just to help you decide whether full-time or part-time study is the best fit for you. It's meant to be a very relaxed and supportive interview, and we're just there to help you make the right decision for you. So when you, following the interview, all offers are going to come through as conditional on successful completion of that RPEL or recognition of prior learning process. But obviously, if you already hold a foundation degree, as I mentioned, it's a little bit more straightforward. We just need copies of your certificates and transcripts, and then we actually submit the RPEL application on your behalf. If you've got a level 3 qualification or equivalent, your offer will, of course, as I said, be subject to completing the RPEL portfolio process that Emma just described, just so that you can achieve those level 4 credits and enable you to step on to a level 5 qualification, which is the top-up degree. And as I said, we'll send out application links with the recording via email, but you can also find links on the program page as well. Okay, so next up, let's talk about study fees. So the current university fees are shown on the screen, but do note they are subject to change, for example, due to inflation. So for the 2026-27 academic year, UK fees are £9,535 per year for our full-time students. And for our part-time students, it works out as roughly half that amount, or £79 per taught credit. For the most up-to-date information, I would definitely recommend visiting the Middlesex University website. And again, we can share the link when we send out the recording as well. If you have any questions or queries about fees or finance, it would definitely be worth contacting Middlesex University's fees and finance team, because they will be best placed to guide you through your options, because it's quite an individual process sort of based on your individual personal circumstances. If you're based in England, you can also speak to Student Finance England for some support on that side of things. So for our international students, fees do differ for them. So for our full-time international students, it's £17,200 per year currently. And for our part-time students, it's £143 per taught credit. Again, if you go onto the Middlesex University website, you'll find details under the International Students tab under that webpage. So what's included in your tuition fees? Well, first of all, obviously access to all of your learning materials, resources, and software that you might require. If you can visit campus, you can also benefit from things like free laptop loans for up to 24 hours. They do offer discount codes for purchasing laptops. And when I last checked, it did still include some free online training via LinkedIn Learning, which is a really great resource actually, and it covers topics like CV writing, coaching, and lots more. Something really exciting with our course is what we call the core text scheme. So this is a scheme that gives you access to one e-textbook per module. So you get 8 in total across levels 4 and 5. These e-textbooks are accessible 24/7 and are actually yours to keep after graduation. So I think that's a really, really nice provision from the university. And most importantly, I guess, as a student of both the College of Animal Welfare and Middlesex University, because it's a joint degree, you do benefit from resources at both institutions. So for example, you'll have access to the Middlesex University online library, as well as journals like the Veterinary Nurse and the VNJ. And beyond academic resources, both Middlesex University and the college offer excellent student support. So they've got their wellbeing services, for example, free confidential counselling, online tools. They've got their student advice and inclusion team, which can offer guidance on adjustments, on support plans, and they can arrange for screenings for dyslexia or ADHD. We've also got the academic skills team who can help with writing, maths, assignment feedback. They offer things like drop-ins or written feedback. And we've also got the academic advising scheme, which I mentioned a little bit earlier in this evening session, which is where you are placed with a dedicated advisor to support you throughout your journey at university. We do cover all of these services during Welcome Week. We can guide and signpost you to them whenever needed. But just a note to add though, in terms of budgeting, please just budget for your own desktop or computer or laptop. You need a stable internet connection plus a webcam, microphone, and a headset, which is really important for those live online sessions in particular. Okay, so that's everything from us. And now it's over to you. Does anyone have any questions at all? If you have any questions, please do pop them in the Q&A box and we'll answer as many as we can.
Okay, so we'll start with the first question then. So thank you everyone for writing questions in the question and answer box. So the first question is, there are only 2 semesters of 12 weeks per year, and that's a question, so question mark.
Oh, yes, I'll take that one if that's okay then. Yes, that's
Perfect.
right. So the top-up degree is held over 2 semesters per year. So semester 1 is roughly sort of mid to end of September, taking us all the way through to December. And then we're off over the festive periods, coming back sort of mid-January-ish. Obviously, the exact date varies year to year. So we're coming back in January and then we study for 12 weeks through to April. And then there's theoretically no new delivery, no new teaching from April round September again. So you get that nice long gap. The only exception to that would be, I mean, there's still no delivery of new materials, but for example, if I don't know, a student needs to defer an assessment or something like that, they may choose to defer that assessment to during the summer periods. So there is the possibility that students might need to complete previous assessments during the summer period if they choose to defer them. But otherwise, there's no delivery of new modules or new teaching during that time. So you do get that nice long break, which is quite a benefit, I think.
I'd agree. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
So the next question then, so what would be the benefit of doing the top up versus doing the advanced VN diploma? And I think that's an excellent question. So over to Lauren and Emma to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose first up, from my perspective, the top-up veterinary nursing degree will allow you to leave with a full BSc Honours degree in veterinary nursing, which is a level 6 qualification. It's a degree qualification, so it allows you to reach that higher academic level. Personally, I haven't completed that certificate myself because I went down the degree route. I'm not sure if Emma, if you've had any involvement with the advanced certificates.
Yeah, I did the advanced small animal one, but
Oh,
then I
perfect.
also did the top up degree. I think
Mhm.
for me, I think if you want, it depends on your career path. I think a lot of employers want that degree. And as Jess said earlier on, a lot of them are asking for it. So to have that top up degree, you can then get into education. Whilst the advanced certificate is really useful, that perhaps isn't going to stand you above someone that's got the top up degree, particularly when you're coming into education. I think it really depends what you want as well. If you want to specialise in something, one particular subject, that advanced vet nursing certificate is really useful. Whereas our top up program is giving you a taste of multiple topics, which I think is really, really useful. So that would be my take on it.
Yeah. Oh, that's some really good points, actually, Emma. It's very true, isn't it? Because I guess if you do the advanced certificate, it is one subject, whereas the top-up degree covers multiple subjects. So yeah, I think it depends what you want to get from your next qualification and where you're kind of headed, I suppose, and what your aims are in terms of your destination.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's all about your career journey and where you see yourself going, I guess, in the next few years. It's always good to have like a 5-year plan, I think. Or at least I try to do that. So
That's a really
thank
good
you.
suggestion. Yeah. I'll just add,
Um,
Jess, actually, just
mm,
if that person wanted to have just an informal chat at any point, they're more than welcome to get in touch with us, and I can arrange to meet with them at a convenient time. We can do that online, and just have a chat about the course and see if it might be a good fit for them.
oh, thank you. I think that's also great. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks, Jess.
Um, Perfect. So the next question, could I work full time whilst doing this? What happens with the 2 hour live lectures? Are they on a specific day in the week? I think that's a great question. I bet other people in here are wondering that as well. So I'll hand over to you guys to answer that one.
Thanks so much, Jess. Yeah, that's a really, really common question, actually. And I think the answer to the question as to whether you can fit this in alongside full-time work depends a lot on what you've got going out on outside of work as well. So, for example, are there other commitments, family, or, have you got lots of support around you in terms of that? And with work, sort of like what are full-time hours? We do have students on course who do work full-time and complete their degree, although I would suggest that it sounds like part-time route would be advisable if they're also working full-time hours. Um, but again, it might be best to just get in touch and we can arrange an informal chat just to talk about kind of what life looks like for them, what full-time work looks like for them, and we can talk about how that would fit in. Um, in terms of the live sessions, so if they were to go down the part-time route, they would have 2 hours live sessions roughly every other week during those 12-week semesters. So there's two 12-week semesters per academic year. So it kind of works out roughly as every other week, 2 hours. They are set in advance. The day will be set in advance, and we try to do that as early as possible. So we do have our days currently set for years 1 and 2 on the programme. I don't foresee any changes to that currently, but we do try to get them confirmed as early as possible. I think this year I'd published them by sort of June time, if I remember rightly, just to give everyone, plenty of notice for arranging with employers or family or life commitments,
Right.
that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But yeah, so they're compulsory attendance just because um, it's really about, I think, striking that balance between having that flexibility of an online only degree where the majority of the learning it can be done at a time to suit you, but also making sure that you still benefit from that tutor contact and from that learning support and sort of engaging with your peers and with your tutors as well. So I think it just helps to strike that balance. I don't know if anyone else would have anything to add to that at all. Quite happy. Yeah, perfect. Okay.
I think you
Thank
said
you,
it all,
Jess.
Lauren. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, so move on to the next questions then. So, if they have previously obtained a BSc Honours degree in a different animal subject, does this impact the application process? Is the RPL still required?
Oh, that is a very good question, and that's not actually something I have previously encountered in our with our applicants. So it might be worth again just getting in touch and we can have a look at that situation, and I can get some advice potentially from the university about specific circumstances, because that's the thing, isn't it? I think everyone's situation is a little bit different. And I think with that, it might be worth getting some advice. I would say that from what I understand is that the RPEL recognition of prior learning process may still be required, unless the qualification is in veterinary nursing, because the recognition of prior learning portfolio is designed to reflect essentially the first year of our main degree program. And so if that's not been covered in another qualification, we may still need to go through that process. But if they would like to get in touch, we can find out a bit more about the situation and hopefully get you some confirmation either way. I don't suppose, Emma, you've experienced anyone with a degree not in veterinary nursing.
No, I don't think I have.
Mm,
But I would
okay.
agree with you that, yeah, it probably needs to be done against the qualification, doesn't it?
Yeah, so if they want to just get in touch, again, we can just arrange an informal chat, find out a bit more about the qualification, and I can seek some advice from the university as required.
Okay, this one's for you, Emma. With the RPL, how long would this take to complete?
Oh, how long's a piece of string? It depends. You can do it as quickly or as slowly as you want. Obviously, there will be a deadline. Um, you know, it's a difficult one. I think we have this question every time, don't we? And I think we say the same sort of thing. You can do it as quickly as you need to, really. It's just a case of getting that evidence in and handing it over. I don't know if Paige maybe has something. How long did it take you? Can you remember?
I can't remember, but it definitely took me a few months because I've been out of learning and and it is a jump, it is a jump from doing level 3 and then going on to degree level, and you want to obviously pass it. So I was obviously back and forth. The support is phenomenal though, guys. You will get a lot of support if you're unsure. Just give the guys an email, a phone call, anything, and they will help you out. So that's one thing I said. I think it was you, Emma, or Lauren. I was just back and forth, wasn't I? But we got there in the end.
Thanks,
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Paige.
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 Perfect. Yeah, I totally agree with what Emma and Paige said there. I've definitely had applicants that have maybe applied to the course quite late and they've completed the RPEL portfolio in maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Um, because again, as I mentioned before, it's really not designed to be a really like arduous task or anything like that. It's just showing that you're able, you've got that evidence to go up to level 5 from level 3 and sort of that stepping stone in between. If you're a qualified veterinary nurse, it is just things that you will be doing every single day, day in, day out. It's your animal handling, it's registering clients, that kind of thing. And it's just sort of putting that into words on the document. Um, but again, what I've done in the past with applicants that wanted to know a bit more about the RPEL was to again have that sort of informal chat with them, show them the application form and the handbook and sort of talk them through with it in front of us so I can share it on my screen and things like that. So again, it might be worth just getting in touch and then we can talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, it's not designed to be something that's really, really challenging or anything like that.
Great. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks, Jen.
So on the same sort of lines, which is again about the RPL. So do you need to be employed as an RVN to do the RPL? They're currently employed in a different job, but was thinking about doing the top-up degree.
I can take that one actually. I don't know if Emma's got anything to add as well. And the answer is no, they don't have to be employed in veterinary practice to do the recognition of prior learning. So we have had applicants that currently work in education settings. And we've had a few, everyone's circumstances are different. So I've had people that work in education or academia that maybe do a bit of part-time or occasional work in practice. So they've sort of drawn on both experiences. But equally, the other people that I've got in mind that worked solely in education used examples in their recognition of prior learning portfolio from when they taught these subjects, and that was accepted. So I would say you don't have to be working in veterinary practice currently. As Emma mentioned earlier, you can use previous evidence as well. I think they usually say, was it within the last 5 years, Emma?
Yeah, five
Yeah.
years.
Perfect. Yeah, so if you've been in practice in the last 5 years at all, then you could use cases from as far back as then. Otherwise, there may be a way around it depending on where you're currently working. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add to that at all.
No, I
All
don't
good.
think so. Yeah,
Mm.
all good.
Perfect.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Okay, so the next question. So how many study hours per week would they need to give themselves, and are there any exams?
Oh, I can take that one if that's okay. So theoretically, each module has 300 study hours because they're each 30 credit modules. But those 300 hours are divided across the 12 weeks of the modules. So it works out to something around 25 hours per week. However, as I mentioned, the majority of that is going to be activities that you can engage in at a time to suit you. So it could be reading journal articles or completing some online tasks or quizzes. And then it will just be the 2 hours every other week per module that you would need to attend live. And those sessions are designed to be very interactive, or as interactive as possible. So we get you involved. It's not sort of you just sitting there and kind of falling asleep while someone talks to you for 2 hours. It is meant to be, getting you involved, getting that interaction and getting that contact with your peers and with your tutors as well. So I think as well, just to add to the point about study hours, everyone does work quite differently. And it does vary, I think, between weeks potentially, and also between different people. Like, for example, if someone's got a really strong background and is working in an ECC environment, they might find they perhaps need to spend a bit less time with their ECC module because they'll have that prior knowledge, whereas others might need to spend a bit more with that, but less in another, if that makes sense. So the the kind of rough guide is about 300 study hours per module per 12 weeks, which when you work that out is about 25 hours per week. But this can vary between individuals.
Great, thank you. And then we
Thank you.
had, is there a dissertation?
Oh, that's a good question. So there isn't a dissertation per se. However, what we do have, which is a little bit similar to a dissertation, is in the first year, for our full-time students, we have Vet 208, which is our evidence-based veterinary nursing module, and our students complete a literature review for that. So I think off the top of my head, it's 4,000 words literature review. So that is the format that a lot of dissertations will take. And then we have something else in the final year, which is the research module. So we call it the quality improvement proposal and the quality improvement project, which is essentially just the follow on of the proposal. And that's where you actually can conduct your own primary research. And so I suppose what my goal is really for those students when they complete that module is they'll not only graduate with a degree in veterinary nursing, but they'll also actually graduate with having completed their own primary research, which could lead on to publication if that's what they wanted to go into. So yeah, there's not a dissertation per se. There are similar elements. There are no exams, however.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so would you recommend the full-time or part-time? And I think I'll answer that one. It really does depend individually on yourself and what your commitments are and what your home life is like, I guess, as to whether the full-time or part-time would most benefit you. I think what best would be, as Lauren says, to contact if you want to chat, and we could probably talk a little bit more through that and navigate that with you and go through what the part-time would look like, what the full-time would look like. And unfortunately, I think in this meeting we probably don't have the time to individually go through that with you. So unless Lauren or Emma have anything to add, I do think you should reach out and we can have a meeting and chat a bit more about it.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, Jess. I think it is very, very individual, isn't it? Because some people might have a family and have another job, but have a lot of support. Whereas there might be someone else that does the same but has less family support or something, something like that. So it is very individual. And definitely getting in touch for an informal chat would be advisable so that we can talk to you about your personal situation and the kind of specifics relating to that and help you to come to a decision. So yeah, I think that would be the thing to do.
No,
Thanks,
thank you.
Jess.
So we've also been asked if the degree you'd learn more than the diploma and would it be the same content? Well, I think we would touch on similar content, but we'd go into a lot more detail and we would critically analyse or critically evaluate those aspects, for example, of veterinary nursing interventions, and in a lot more detail and a lot more depth. Whereas it'll still be the same topics because the job is the job, as we know, but it would be in a lot more detail. And then that sort of leads me to the next question. And they've said if their maths are right, 60 credits at full time equates to 600 hours. That would be 50 hours a week.
So technically that is correct. Because the full-time route is designed to be full-time study, so similar to full-time hours. So, roughly, I guess a sort of 40-hour week would be roughly a full-time job. But again, it's very variable, I think, between between individuals and also between weeks and between modules between weeks kind of thing. You might have a bit of a heavier week as you come up to your assessments, but then we do have the odd reading week here and there where there's no new information generated. So, yeah, I think study hours can be quite variable and quite an individual thing. I don't suppose, Paige, you would have any thoughts on kind of study hours with your current route?
So I do full time. So I mean, I would say probably sort of 20, if I'm going to be completely honest, I'd say about 25 to 30 hours, just because I work at quite a fast pace anyway. So when I sort of go through my online work, I take it in quite quick. I'm quite speedy, and that's it just goes in. But if I have to go over things, obviously things are still on there. So yeah, I wouldn't be too put off. I know it sounds like a massive number when you say sort of 600 hours. Yeah, it's you've got to be realistic and you do what works for you. Part time, full time, you're at the end of the day you'll still get the same outcome at the end, and that's the important thing to remember. Obviously, don't put yourself through so much pressure and so much stress that you're not able to do things. It can be quite deflating, but just have a think about it, and definitely reach out to the tutors, and that's what they're here for, so and they'll guide you best.
Perfect.
Thank
Thanks so much, Paige.
you.
And I think that was a
No
really good
worries.
example that you used in that some people might be really fast readers and therefore,
Yeah.
read journal articles very quickly, whereas others might need a bit more time. And, same with all of the rest of the content. It is very individual, I would say. But thanks so much for sharing that.
No
I
worries.
would agree too. I'm very, very quick at reading journal articles. I read really fast, but I'm so slow at assignments because I want it to be perfect. So I'm like, yes, I think it definitely depends on the individual. So that takes us to our last question currently, but there might be more after we've done this question. So are the online sessions 2 hours every other week for both full-time and part-time courses?
Oh, that's a very good question, actually. So it's 2 hours roughly every other week. So I say roughly because it's technically 6 live sessions per 12-week semester. Okay. But it might be that you have, a couple of weeks where it's like consistent live sessions, and then you'll have a couple of weeks break. But it works out as roughly every other week. And that's per module. So our full-time students attend lectures every week for 2 hours. However, we do usually have 1 or 2 reading weeks per module, which is where we don't do live sessions. There's no new material being delivered. So technically, our full-time students attend live sessions every week, but like I said, it doesn't quite work out that way because of reading weeks. I hope that makes sense.
It does. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. So we haven't got any more questions coming in, but I like to end, like on another question, which is one from myself. So over to Lauren and Emma. So in terms of the degree and where it's taken you, I like to talk about career journeys. What has been the standout thing for you that your degree has given you in vet nursing? So tough question.
Wow. Okay, shall I go first?
You go first, Lauren. Hmm.
That's a really good question. I love that one, Jess. And I think yeah, I'm really pleased I did the degree because um I knew I wanted to do a degree. I'll have to be honest, actually, this was a long, long time ago. I wasn't even sure what I wanted to do a degree in until quite close to the time I needed to really decide. Um, and then I realized there was a veterinary nursing degree, and that's when I got into it. But then when I'd qualified, it led me straight into working in referral practice, in a large referral practice hospital, which had very much of a focus on kind of research and academia, and that was a really nice fit for me actually following the degree. And then because this was also a teaching hospital, I realized that I actually had this kind of deep passion for teaching and lecturing. So then I went into my lecturing role, which I've stayed in for the last, gosh, 12 plus years. I can't remember exactly how long. Um, but then when I wanted to go into a teaching role, a degree I think does help quite a lot with that. Um, because a lot of institutions might advise that you have a qualification higher than what you're teaching, if that makes sense. Um, and so having the degree meant that I could teach at sort of, level three diploma and also teach on the degree as well. And then it also led me on to further study because I've always had a real passion for animal behaviour, and then I decided to go and do my master's degree in animal behaviour, which obviously I couldn't have done without having my degree. So yeah, it's led me to quite a varied career, I think. And I think that's a really good question because I love when I speak to students or applicants in the interviews and hear about their kind of career and how it doesn't always follow that kind of just straight linear route. It's really interesting, isn't it?
It really is.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's probably it for me, a little summary of my career path to date. Thanks,
Perfect.
Jess.
So I'll hand over to Emma quickly, and then we do have two more questions that have come in.
Oh,
So there
lovely.
we go.
Okay.
Okay, so I think for me, I did my qualification at level 3, so I wanted that next step. I wanted to have that career progression. I wanted to do better for my patients and my clients and my colleagues. So that's the reason why I went on to sort of do mine. I think it gives you so many opportunities. Without my degree, I couldn't come into education. As Jess said earlier on, lots of sort of employers are looking for that. I do a little bit with charity work, and actually, when you move through charity work, if you're going to be a trustee, they want you to be a degree holder. So I think it's yeah, it really boosts your career opportunities. So yeah, that's sort of my perspective on it.
I would agree. I was allowed to do a research role at the Royal Veterinary College in the Clinical Investigation Centre, and that was helpful for me to have that degree. That helped me me
Mm.
into that area as well. And it was really cool to work in the laboratory. So Paige then, I think, so I'll move on to the questions. Paige has said she would like to answer a question, so I'm very excited about that. So the question Paige is, I'm currently in my last year of the level 3 diploma. I really want to do it, but unsure if I have the motivation as it is all online. What would you recommend? So over to Paige.
Thanks, Jess. Um, I think you can do it. I am very much in the mindset of if you put and set your mind to something, you can achieve it. It's going to be, a very full on and busy couple of years, but you've got to remember that you will be amongst a fabulous cohort. You have great tutors, very supportive, very approachable. I contact them uh, numerous times throughout the week. I'm sure they can agree. But we have a really good rapport. And yeah, I definitely would, advise it. I think that with it all being online, I know it can be quite daunting, I guess. But it's allowed me so much freedom in terms of not having to travel to Hendon to the main campus and things like that, and being able to work around my family life, still have my job. I'm a dog mum as well. I've got a very needy sausage dog, and I dabble in all sorts of other things. I'm an author, and I've just done my first acting gig. So you can really, and I hope that answers your question. You can do it if it's something you really want to achieve and you set your mind to it. I think anything's achievable.
Fantastic, Paige. Wow. I don't think we need to say anything else because that really answered that. Thank you. So the last
Mic drop.
question, exactly, exactly. So the last question is, will the degree allow me to be more employable around the world?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't have that much experience myself with working internationally. I don't know if anyone else does, particularly.
No, I don't, unfortunately.
I don't myself, but my friends have, and they've gone to Australia and a variety of other
Um,
places, which is pretty cool. And yes, having a degree did help them in vet nursing. But I do think again it is on that individual level and depends where you go. And the world is quite wide, so it might be slightly different in different areas. But again, I think it does open up lots of opportunities, as we were saying, but it would be on an individual basis and depending on where you went, I do think, because the certain places have different requirements. But fantastic question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good one.
Yeah,
I think
so do
as
I.
well, going on what you were saying,
Mm,
Jess, is that exactly like you said, you end up with essentially a Bachelor of Science degree. So you'll have a science degree, and that can't be taken away from you if that makes sense. So whatever other role you might like to go into in the future, I think having a science degree behind you, it can only be a good thing, really.
yeah.
Looks very good on CVs.
I think that's really good. So I think that takes us to the end of the questions. I can't see any other questions on there. So thank you ever so much for joining us all for the webinar. It's been lovely to have you here. Thank you for all the questions that came in. That was great. And thank you to Lauren and Emma for your brilliant answers to lots of my questions when I put you on the spot. And I'll hand back to Lauren, who chaired the meeting to end. Thank you, Lauren.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming along. We've had some really, really great questions tonight. And hopefully those that are watching back with the recording can also benefit just as much because I'm sure those questions are being asked by lots of other people and hopefully they'll benefit from the responses too. And I think a very special thank you goes to Paige for joining us tonight.
Mhm.
I'm sure that everyone attending tonight and watching the recording back will really benefit from your very unique insight as one of our final year students. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. We hugely appreciate it.
It was a
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
Thanks,
And so,
Paige.
on that note, we said we were hosting between 7 and 8 p.m., and it has literally just hit 8 p.m. So, we're right on time. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll perhaps speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you.